entertaining version, because like I don't know how much y'all wanted to see my face while I talk, so figured give it a shot with kind of a dash cam kind of vibe. I've got my little signs up. One is more of a joke than the other, obviously, but yeah, I wasn't sure how cohesive and coherent my last kind of ramblings came across as. I was trying to get to a point, I think, where I was more trying to get to the point where I kept talking about how I think it's important for people to have representation, but also it's important for people to have somebody who isn't a representative, isn't a face that looks like theirs, or isn't a voice that sounds like theirs, or isn't a belief system that matches theirs, and still fights for them, alongside them. Not in the sense that I am trying to do anything for anybody or stand up like in front of people. I want to stand up beside people. I want to talk to people and them feel like I'm their friend, or I could be their friend, or that I could be trusted to be friendly to them. And so that's what this is. I am kind of figuring this as I go. Obviously, it's a trial by fire, trial and error kind of situation. I feel like I've only done, it's only been a few videos, and I'm trying to upload pretty consistently, or pretty constantly. I'm gonna dabble here and there just to see how things go, but I am going to do this as safely and as fun and enjoyably as possible. I am in Arizona, or maybe I crossed into New Mexico, whatever. I don't know exactly. This is a route I haven't taken before. I typically go more of a southern route when I travel, because normally I'd go through Texas, as far as like San Antonio and stuff like that. That's because I used to live in San Antonio, in Dallas, and that area, and so typically I drive through there to visit people, or to as like that'd be my starting point a lot of times. I've done the drive from San Antonio to Nevada, from San Antonio to Vegas, and I've done the trip from Mississippi on the coast all the way to Vegas as well. So this is a different route. I've not gone this direction before. It's going pretty much straight east across the country. It's a little bit of a winding path, but it's pretty straightforward to DC, as far as a pretty direct path, honestly. And so I want to be. I like the idea of being a traveling storyteller, an adventurer. I'd like to go on adventures and just enjoy life and tell my stories, and eventually maybe write a book. But really, this is good. I like being like a storyteller, like the old traditional traveling bard style storyteller, because right now I'm most comfortable with my voice, like my actual voice, rather than my written voice. And so this is kind of a practice, like an endeavor into practice, traveling and trying different aspects of this. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know the details, other than I have a goal, I have a route, and I have an outline of a plan. I was inspired by people who speak their mind and say what they mean and don't hesitate, or don't seem to hesitate at least. Currently, I'm being very inspired by two comedians in particular, Josh Johnson and Cliff Cash. Both have inspired me. I don't know if I ever aspired to be like a stand-up or like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's my wheelhouse or if that's something I'm compatible with. We'll see it as I go, what things feel natural and what things don't. But I do have like plans as far as depending on what goals I reach when, and the friends I make along the way, and the places I can stop that will make this journey an adventure. Because I don't like going to DC is a major part of this, but I don't want this to be that trip that ends because I got done. I'm like, no, this journey is about the journey, the adventure, not the destination. Even though for right now the destination is important. My original goal, as I said before, was to get to DC tomorrow, and looks like that's not unfortunately going to happen. It'll be tomorrow in 5 hours. So, but I'll get there as soon as possible. I had to pack up my car. I had to sell off some stuff. I had to make room in my life for this and really commit to this. But this is my thing now. I had an epiphany and a kind of a realization not too long ago that I can't be stationary anymore. I can't sit still. I need to be moving and going and hopefully eventually making a difference by just talking. That's the goal. Is I want to just talk to the camera, talk to myself, talk to anybody who'll listen, and really get to know this country. Like I know this country pretty well. I've been across huge chunks of it, but I've not stopped in all the different areas. I've lived, like before my family and I moved to Japan when I was a kid, we had moved a lot of times, and then afterwards we moved a lot of times as well. I've lived in a bunch of different states. I've lived in a bunch of different cities and towns, and I've also lived in, like, on military bases. It's a whole thing. Like, life is so strange and so kind of exciting, where you can find yourself living in Vegas, actually Las Vegas, and then I keep telling people when I was living there that I would go on a walk and I'd kind of forget that I was living in Vegas until I would crest a hill or crest a rise or whatever, and suddenly you see the strip and you're like, oh yeah, I live in Las Vegas. And that was such an interesting feeling, because like when you're in, like, I was living in Henderson, but downtown Vegas, it feels like a different world to the rest of the valley. And then when you leave the valley, it's even crazier. You've got Mount Charleston, and then you, like, the other direction you've got Lake Mead. If you go another direction, you've got the like Zion and you know, Laughlin, and all these different places that are very much, you can tell, influenced and inspired by and like kind of built into the ecosystem of Vegas. And it's crazy that literally all I did was cross out of the valley, and it's like the rest of I hit Arizona and New Mexico, like I'm hitting New Mexico soon, or maybe I already am. I just saw the state, the Arizona sign, so I'm guessing I went into New Mexico. But it's such a crazy thing to see how just over the mountain range, over the edge of the valley into the rest of the world, it's like a different world. And there's immediate, it's like no hesitation, a different world. And it's kind of eerie when you really think about it. It's like, oh wow, I was in a weird, unique bubble in Vegas. And then once you're further west and go to like California, even different. Like that mountain range, the Rockies, they create like a real separation. And the coast is a completely different zone. Like the Pacific Northwest, the West Coast is such a different zone, even compared to Vegas. And then it's crazy. I'm rambling again, I know. I'll make this video shorter just because it's just like off the cuff, trying out different versions of this. But yeah, it's 7 o'clock at night. I've been driving for a few hours now. I'll stop when I feel tired, or when it feels like the right time to stop, but don't feel that urged yet, so we'll see how things go. Thanks for listening. I'm Austin. I am the Blue Guy, and let me know what you think. Talk to you later.